to do a roundtable discussion and hopefully answer some of your questions. So as always, if you do have questions, you can put them in the live chat throughout this whole process. So let's see who we've got here tonight. We've got Burl Tishner down in the bottom right-hand corner. Burl Tishner, owner and creator of the Digital Wood Carver. And we've got Rose George, William, not William, I'm sorry, I was about to say my first. Okay. Kevin Troyanak and Bruce Degarmo. How you doing, guys? I want to take a minute and let y'all introduce yourself. I'm going to start off with you, Rose. You're a wonderful woman, one of my favorites. I can't say that because everybody get mad at me, but I love you doing everything. Tell us, introduce yourself to everybody and tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is Rose George, and about 3.5 years ago, I needed something to do. I was retired, and my husband needed me to be doing something. So I bought a DWC and CNC and started my little business. Thank God for this pandemic. It's not something that I have to financially live off of, but because this year sure has been crazy. I mainly do shows, bazaars, and I have, some accounts with Purdue University and other places that I get business from. I have a couple of realtors that have me carve signs for people that buy houses and just things like that. Lafayette, Indiana is where I'm from. And as far as social media, I do have a Facebook page, and I do get a lot of business off of that. I do not have a website. I'm hoping to start selling on Etsy and doing things a little bit more. Once my husband retires, it will have to be a financial thing. So that's pretty much my story.
Oh, excellent. Rose, I greatly appreciate that. And welcome. And of course, welcome to everybody that's popping into the chat, the live event and everything. Bruce, let me get Bruce all set up here. Bruce, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, excuse me. From Southern Wisconsin, Janesville, actually. Been doing woodworking since about 1967. My dad got me into it, in the shops, and been doing it all along ever since. Worked as a carpenter. Now I worked for 38 years in construction for a major construction company in Southern Wisconsin. And now that I'm retired, as of last year, I had to have something to do. And probably about 1.5 years ago, I happened to meet Burl at a woodworking show in was it Franklin, Wisconsin, or Milwaukee, Wisconsin, or whatever, and got to looking at that, and he gave me some good insight on a DWC 2440, and by the end of the year I bought one, and through Laney's help, of course, I've learned how to use it, and we've been putting out every sign we've made has turned into 4 or 5 or 6 more signs. I did an edge lit acrylic for my daughter just for fun, and I now got 6 or 7 orders for them. I originally bought it for carving in the top of a blanket chest that I make, and that's worked, but it's led to a lot of other things, from cribbage boards to the acrylic signs to regular signs to whatever people ask me about.
That's excellent.
Pardon?
I said that's excellent. And sorry that while you were introducing yourself, and I did not mean to get off, Bruce, but I'm sorry I had pictures pop up. My screen share button just happened to go live. So but wanted to come back and say Bruce and I have worked together, and ladies and gentlemen, this is one of those things. Bruce is an inspirational story because you never know where a CNC is going to take you. like he said, and I'll let him, but he started with purchasing just, to be able to carve, on a blanket, and all of a sudden it is something completely different. It's just that. Do you expect that, Bruce, to happen, or were you kind of like, I'm going to do it for this project? I've got plans to go down the road. Is that kind of how it went?
Well, I had it for plans for a specific item. I also had cribbage boards in the back of my mind because when I went to college, University of Wisconsin-Platteville, one of the last things I had for I'm an industrial education teacher by education. One of the last classes I had, we had to do a mass-produced project. And we decided to make cribbage boards. And of course, we used CNC carving to drill all the holes and such. But back then, we had to clean up an end mill in the metal shop so we could carve them in there. We actually, two of the guys punched in all the codes into, I think it was a Singer type processing machine, and the tape had to be several hundred feet long. That just got fed through the processor and drilled the cribbage boards. And I've been intrigued to CNC ever since. And
there you go. And here's Bruce's boards and things. And Bruce, I'm gonna cut you off. I'm just got to get Kevin introduced, and then we're going to talk more about beautiful work. This is the images that you sent. I'm going to share all of you guys' image here in a minute, but let's get on screen here. And Kevin, Troy, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I'm Kevin from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I got into woodworking like a few years really before getting the Digital Wood Carver, and I'm the story who I showed up at at one of the woodworking shows. I thought I'm going to sign up for everything for winning something, and about 2 months later, Laney called me while I was at work at 7 o'clock at night at a trade show, saying, "Hey, you were the winner of the CNC machine." So I really stumbled into this not knowing anything about a CNC machine, and it has been kind of a whirlwind. That was 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. So for me, it's just been a whirlwind of learning software, learning about wood, learning about the bits, making things. I probably started making some of the silliest looking signs and pieces to really just having a lot of fun. Yeah, it's been, for me, it's been great. I use a lot of hardwoods. I always buy as rough cut wood as I can and mill everything down. So I'm, really trying to be part of the process with all my wood from start to finish. So part of my process, and I didn't even know what to make. In my family, my wife and I were into like essential oils, and we have a bunch of little kids, and we thought, well, let's do a bunch of essential oil things, which haven't really panned out a whole lot yet. And then we started making kid toys and these name puzzles, which have been, probably, my number one item that we sell on Etsy. So our idea, we also homeschool our kids. So our idea is to make products for kids, for learning, dexterity, and also for homeschooling. So we do a bunch of stuff, make paint boards, and we make grooved out, router out grooves for the paint boards and stuff. I mean, it's been a lot of fun. So yeah, so we've been doing this for about 2 years. We've upgraded from we're about to upgrade from the mini carver to the big carver. We've kind of outgrown everything that we use the mini carver for. So we're just about ready to kind of upgrade to a bigger size. So
outstanding. And I, as you were talking, I went ahead and wanted to show some of Rose's and your pictures and everything. Your projects are awesome. And then Bruce's as well. Bruce's edgelit signs and some of his. Bruce, these are called a power plaque.
Spirit Black, Spirit
Spirit
Trophy.
Black.
It was for
Spirit Trophy. There
a
you go.
gymnast going to state.
Excellent. And, there's some amazing projects that you guys and girls are doing. And let me turn Burl's microphone on so he can jump in here. And you'll have to excuse me if you see that I've muted your microphone. I'm just trying to minimize echo. So if you have something to say, point to me, say, hey, I want to say something.
Yeah.
But
and I realized you muted me, Laney, and if the other people do. And I understand. I didn't put my headset on today, so may get in there and just love these projects and your story, each one of you on that. I told my story a little bit a couple weeks ago. How a lot of you guys started was really how I started Digital Wood Carver, where I had a full-time job and I basically wanted to create a machine for myself. I was a design engineer, and I created a unit for myself. And when you're working full-time, it took actually a few years for me to get, to what the 2440 looks like today, or something that was close to it. Back then, we're over 10 years old. We started in, I think my wife said we sold our first one in the early spring of 2010. So we are celebrating our 10 years here. But I started, it's kind of similar how you guys did, where, I think most of you have other type jobs and you got into it. And fortunately for me, about 5 years ago, I was able to quit that job and go full time. And then Digital Wood Carver is doing well. We are now, my wife says we have about 15 employees on payroll, and that seems to be growing. Scary sometimes as you're, doing businesses, but it's all good. And, on that. So that's kind of my story a little bit. If you didn't hear it a couple of weeks ago on that. So I appreciate, once again, appreciate you coming in. Laney, you got some questions we want to start out with for these people?
Yes, I do. I do have some questions to get the ball rolling, and I want to thank you all once again. My microphone picks up a lot, so if you hear thunder and lightning in the background, we're in Florida. I'm the only southerner in this group tonight, and we have our tropical storms down here. So the first question I want to start off with, and Kevin, you kind of told a little bit of your story. You were one of our winners of our Digital Wood Carver giveaways, which again, 2 years later, congratulations. You've been doing some amazing things with it since then. But my initial starter question is, did you have a business of some sorts where you were selling crafts or projects or things like that before you obtained your Digital Wood Carver, and was it incorporated in, or was the Digital Wood Carver kind of a Kickstarter to your business and things? And we'll start again, ladies first. We'll start with Rose. Rose, I kind of know a little bit about your story. I mean, I've been out to your house a few times and everything, but did you have a craft business or a sign business or anything like that before the Digital Wood Carver?
Yes, I piddled around with crafts, and then I got a realtor that came to me and wanted me to, I would actually draw something on a piece of wood and then hand burn it. And she was giving those to her customers. And I happened to walk in and see this CNC, and my husband said, that's what you need. And so that's pretty much what got me started going on the CNC.
That's awesome. Whoa, I'm sorry about that. A little bit of a back feed there.
One of the things that I will point out with Rose, she is an artist, and she didn't claim to be, but she's very good at painting and stuff. And one of the things I love about what you do, Rose, is you actually incorporate not only Digital Wood Carver, but you put your own personality to it with your painting and stuff that incorporates with it. Makes
Thank you.
Stuff. So,
yeah, outstanding. And
you're the artist.
And no, that's great. And Bruce, with you. Again, during your introduction, you kind of gave a little bit of your backstory and stuff. And again, I didn't mean to cut you off on that. Sorry about that. But did you have a business of sorts of kind of in what you're doing now and incorporate the Digital Wood Carver in, or was the Digital Wood Carver kind of a Kickstarter to what you're growing now?
My business prior to that was, making blanket chests, making whatever anybody wanted. And when I built new house a little while back, I said, I need a shop. I put a 1,000 square foot shop on the side of the garage. And I said, well, here's a space. I got to do something different. I met Burl and I said, hey, that CNC machine is going to fit right in there. And so we've incorporated that into the business by carving both on the blanket chest and the sign making. We've also been doing, there's a lady in town here that does a lot of fancy hand painted signs, and people are saying, that's nice, but can you carve something like that and paint it? I've done a lot of painted signs too, and that was a trial and error to begin with, but it turned out and they're great. That Grace sign you saw was a 4-color sign. But yeah, we incorporated it into what we're doing. It's kind of once I retired is when the business got kick-started over, and so we've been going. It's my wife and myself, and we keep busy.
Yeah, and this is that gray sign that you were talking about and everything, and I like it's got the coat hooks on it for the young ladies to hang whatever they want to on there.
Metals
and
necklaces.
Painted signs is a little tricky, and there are some little tips and tricks. And Rose, I actually at one of our live classes for our Digital Wood Carver Owners group, we actually had Rose talk about how she finishes her projects and stuff, because she does a good job with them and everything. Kevin, let's see here. Let's get Kevin on the board here. Kevin, with you, like you said, you fell into the Digital Wood Carver itself.
Yeah.
But before that, was Troyo House a thing? Did you have something going on prior to incorporating the Digital Wood Carver, or was that kind of the Kickstarter?
We had the name Troyo House about 10 years ago with the idea that one day we're going to start a business, and we just didn't know what we'd do. I've been in the wholesale industry almost my entire career. So we've always been kind of in the back end of business things, generating. I helped start a couple businesses. So when the Digital Wood Carver came, it was, hey, this is what we're going to do. We're just going to start a woodworking company. So, I mean, it started out very, very slow, but no, we had no prior, hey, we're selling anything. We kind of stumbled into the CNC world and just began carving things. As we started carving things, we had friends going, we would buy that. And it just, it kind of grew that way. And I still work a full-time job, and, my weekends are taken up with woodworking and the CNC machines. So but yeah, we didn't start out selling anything. We, started selling something a few months after we had the machine. We practiced, thousands of boards, and I called Laney, I called you, every day for how many months, and finally had some products that were really neat. So
absolutely. And from there, it's been doing good. And of course, not too long ago back, and I'm just going to throw this out there about you. I think I can't remember how many months ago back, but you actually had, I don't know if it was planned or if you knew about it, but you actually had one of your kids' puzzles show up in a magazine, right?
That was a lot of fun. Yeah, we were in Country Living. One of our good friends here in Milwaukee refabs homes, and had a whole spread of a house that they did. And she had asked me to make a couple name puzzles for a baby that was coming. This was last October, in the photo shoot and everything. And then the magazine came out in March. So we got to be in Country Living. That was a lot of fun. I
absolutely
stumbled into it. So
yeah, and it's just exciting when you see things like that. Back when I was actually woodworking full time on YouTube and everything, I was fortunate enough to be in a wood magazine, not Wood magazine. It was the Scroll Saw magazine edition. And as soon as with my picture and a little article about me and Steve Ramsey, woodworking from Immortal, shout out to him. That was amazing, right? And you just kind of your head just like, oh wow, and it kind of, you know, people see that, and you know, it's nice recognition, you know, even though it might not have been intentionally planned, or if it just kind of fell out, it's great. Now, real quick, when with that question, as far as the incorporating or, you know, starting your business, now we know how you kind of got started and everything, and what you're doing. And Bruce, you've had your blanket chests, and you've had, you're now doing your acrylic signs, but when it comes to kind of this realm, you're just kind of getting started, right? You're kind of getting some not motivation, but momentum behind you, right? With some of the things you're doing, and kind of, didn't it start off with, didn't your daughter ask you if you could make a project for a fellow teammate or something, or how did that go?
That was the grace sign, and she needed something for the fire up gift, and she and I sat down at the computer, and it's the first time I ever knew that the Vectric software had a thing on there to make stars. You know, how the three stars got put on there.
Right.
She wants a bed made, a new bed, and so I said, okay, fine. We're gonna go get the wood next week. We're gonna figure out how to do it. You're gonna learn. She's not too happy about that, but you know, Dad's always been there to make it. Now it's her turn. She gets to work with the old geezer himself. So,
oh, that's outstanding, and that's the one thing I think everybody can agree on. The Digital Wood Carver, or CNC in general, it's great for the whole family. Like if you had those family members that could be able to get involved, it's the software is user friendly and intuitive. And ladies and gentlemen that are watching, we at Digital Wood Carver utilize the Vectric design CAD CAM software. Shout out to Vectric; they make a great product. Their Vectric VCarve Desktop Pro and Aspire, and it's very user friendly and intuitive. So if you're intimidated about the electronic side of it, or the technical side of it, the designing and stuff, that should be the least of your worries, because Vectric has done everything in their abilities of designing that program to make it very intuitive, very friendly, and it's phenomenal. So I just want to give that shout out to them. And so hey, you know, maybe you can get her doing some carving and things and all. Now, I'm going to switch the tables, and I'm going to put Rose. I'm going to put you on the hot seat for a second. You have something that a lot of people asked about. In my days, I call it what's called a crafter's license. I'm not sure if that's what it's actually called, a crafter's license, but you actually have an agreement with Purdue University where you can make their signs using their logo, and you're in the Purdue world up there and everything, and so do you find that to be a fairly straightforward process, or was it hard to kind of get in the door?
No, actually, it's a program that they have, that they offer. You can apply for their crafter's license, is what it's called, and you can apply for it. You have to send them pictures of what you make, and you have to stay within their logos, their current logos. But there's, you know, a situation of you can sell $2,500 a year, or 500 objects a year.
Excellent.
And so it's very easy to get into, but I do some work for Purdue. So I think that helped me get into it too.
That's cool. And ladies and gentlemen, she's got the Purdue market corner, so you guys go over to Florida Gators or somewhere. I thought it was called a crafter's license, because when I would explain to people, you know, talking sales and things, and they ask about, you know, working with, universities or military and things like that. A lot of people don't know that an individual like you and myself, we can actually obtain a crafter's license. There's a fee and there's stipulations just like yours is. And I think most of them have that same kind of stipulation where there's a certain dollar amount that can be sold. Throughout the year, or you pay an additional fee. I don't know exactly what the terms are, but if any of you are looking at things like that, you can, with these different companies, you can reach out to them and become I don't think the proper word is an affiliate, but you can become, what's the word, Burl?
I was going to say official merchandise. I mean, for the Rose, you have the ability to actually put on a sticker or something that says
Yes.
it's actually an official product of whether it's NCAA or being a Purdue or things like that.
Yes, you do have to. They do supply you with stickers that you put on the back, and you also have to keep track of how much you sell to give them proof. And it is a yearly fee, but it's not very expensive. So.
Yeah, exactly. And so, we always want people to follow the correct courses in life and business and things. And if you are looking to get into business and do craft shows and farmers markets and fairs and things, you want to make sure that you're not doing anything that could get you in a bind. And so obtaining a crafter's license is a good way to go. And it's just a matter of just picking up the phone and making those calls and, tying up with the correct person to go through the process. And it's a process just like everything else, but it's not a hard process. I'm sure there's some paperwork and things that you've got to go through, but it can be done. And, it's very helpful to your business to stay on the up and up and do well. So thanks for sharing that. I appreciate that, Rose, and everything.
And that brings up another point. I'd like to find out from the people here to kind of how do they market? Do they use, social network, local word of mouth? Kind of give us a little bit of how you got started. What was some, maybe some good things, bad things that you've, learned over the last, whether it's months or years on doing a little bit of marketing? Because that's a question we get a lot at shows is how do I get started with the business? And then how do I advertise or, get my business going?
And let's start off with Kevin on that one. Kevin, now with Troyo House, actually having a product behind it and stuff, and you guys are kind of, hustling forward with some great things. What's your and again, we don't want your trade secrets, but what's your marketing strategy? Are you looking at social network mostly, or is it word of mouth or markets? What's your thoughts?
Yep. It's funny. We have this conversation. My wife and I do this together. We have this conversation every day, every week. We typically use like Instagram and a little bit of Facebook. I'm not real good at marketing on Facebook for some reason, but a lot on Instagram. And we found that I don't necessarily get a ton of sales via Instagram. I've been trying to do some more research on how to generate sales through that platform. I would say 50% of my sales come from word of mouth. And then 50% of my sales come through Etsy. We've tried, and I find with Etsy, you kind of have to constantly put up new products, take things down, put things up, just, I guess, to fit into their matrix. But I found with Etsy, they have their own search platform. People go there looking for crafty type things, and we try to stick all organic. Everything we do is attempting to be organic using all organic materials. So that's kind of been our niche. So what I've been finding is that people on Etsy are searching for those type of items. And then recently I've been finding if somebody buys our product on Etsy and then posts it on social media, I get more traction from other people hashtagging, posting my products than I do from me even posting it myself. I just, I obviously have a broader reach because other people are doing that for you. So we've been trying to help people along and promoting our stuff too, because that becomes the word of mouth. But that's really been our push. This year was going to be our first year doing trade shows, little farmers markets. Obviously, that didn't happen. We were gearing up to do that. We were gearing up for stock and buying a tent and doing all the outside festival stuff, signing up for everything, and obviously that fell through. So
yeah, and I'm going to come back to, I want to talk to Bruce next here about that same topic, but I'm going to come back to Rose because I was talking to Rose when we were doing our little test broadcast the other day. Like you said, Kevin, with COVID, unfortunately, it threw a lot of people in kind of where they have to come up with a plan B. Right. They had one streamlined way that they were heading, but with not being able to do shows and the shows closing down and things like that, it's kind of made you have to look at all right, what's our alternate route? Where are we going from there? And I want to, in a minute, I want to come to Rose on that because she's just now, I believe, and I'm not want to speak for her, but I think she's looking into Etsy and stuff. And for those of you, of course, if you are on the internet, Etsy is it's the eBay of handcrafted products. It is wonderful. When people are going there, they are looking for that craft style, homemade, handmade, type of product and everything. But thank you for that, Kevin and Bruce. Let me grab a hold of you here, and with you, Bruce, you're now just kind of developing a little bit of a marketing strategy. Am I correct? Or I'm under the assumption that you're just getting started. But like you said, you've been going on for a while. But when it comes to these signs and things, are you kind of looking at, all right, here's how I'm going to do it, and we'll just see how it goes? What's your thoughts on the marketing?
We're just starting to get into how are we going forward because probably 80% of our sales right now are word of mouth. Yep. I got weird ways of getting into word of mouth. We also make a lot of end grain cutting boards. Last year, I donated a couple of cutting boards to American Heart Association. They made pretty good, but I've also turned around and gotten several sales off of that. The signs, the spirit sign, that was here we go. And somebody said, well, my two daughters, I'd like one for each of them. Okay, fine. Give me the names, give me the colors. And the backlit acrylic sign, I put the head out in its raw form. And one lady said, okay, my daughter's birthday is on the 22nd of July. I need it that way. Here's the school emblems, but blue over white is fantastic. Oh, by the way, my husband is a head football coach, but I need the heading to say this instead of this. Can you get me one of them too? Yep. Oh, and I got two people at work, she says, that want them. So it just kind of snowballs a little bit that way. We had originally thought about hitting some craft shows, farmers markets, whatever, but there again, around here, the COVID-19 has taken some of that apart. My sister's itching to get into the craft thing again, and she knows what I can present, what we can make. We just got to get some signs and stuff made to do it. We just haven't figured out, okay, do we have a form? How do we make signs, personalized signs when you're there at a farmer's market and somebody wants it to say this, this, and this? I'm not going to carve it at the farmer's market. We're working on that too.
Yeah. And to say that now, I've actually taken the Digital Wood Carver. I have the 2440, and I've actually taken the Digital Wood Carver to a farmer's market. I've had some pre-made templates already ready, and where someone could customize it, and I could just carve their name, where it only takes maybe 5 to 10 minutes or so to do, and stuff. And it's fun. The thing is some farmers markets now don't have power and all that stuff, so you got to be, know your surroundings and all. But I've done that, and it's pretty cool. Now, unfortunately, I didn't have casters on my 2440, so Kevin and I had to lift that thing into the trailer and get it. It's a heavy unit, but that is something that can be done. And now I'm going to pop back to Rose, and thank you again, Bruce, for that answer. That was great. I'm going to pop back to Rose here, and Rose, you from what I know is you did craft shows and you did shows and things, and COVID-19 kind of like put a halt to that this year because the show's closed. And so you're actually looking at going at a different route now, right? You're kind of working on your plan B. Is that correct?
Yes, yes. The last 3 years, I have just done shows all year round, and that's where I've made most of my business. I get, from the shows, I get a lot of orders from that. I keep normally 200 signs in inventory, different kinds. And so, yeah, this year it just stopped. And so I am starting to check into selling on Etsy. I've approved through Purdue that I can sell their product, Purdue stuff on there. And I think that's what I'm going to start with, and then kind of branch out into the different signs that I do.
Right. And now aside from the shows and everything and all, as your marketing strategy has been, take my product to the show and let the people see for themselves and get what they want, or do you do any marketing? I know you have the Facebook page, The Carver's Niche. You guys and girls should check that out that are watching The Carver's Niche on Facebook, and also check out Kevin's Troyo House on Facebook and Instagram at Troyo House. But Rose, with Facebook, I've been to your page, and that's where I snagged some of your photos for tonight's event from and everything. Do you do any marketing on social networks, or is it just kind of your shows and word of mouth and that? How's your marketing going?
So far, it was mainly my shows and Facebook. I do get a lot of orders from Facebook, but mostly friends and things through there, and relatives. But I'd say probably, right now, any business I'm getting is from my Facebook.
Excellent. And I want to take a minute to recognize questions, because you ladies and gentlemen that are watching, if you have any questions, you can absolutely pop in. And we've got a few of you here on YouTube watching, but we've got a slew watching on Facebook. So thanks for that. I wish we could see all of the Facebook viewers and all. But Troy Pritchard is one of our viewers, and he asked the question: do any of our guests have a YouTube channel of sorts? I'm not sure exactly what the YouTube channel, how you would produce it or whatever, but have any of you ever thought about something like that, doing commercials on YouTube or any products on YouTube? And show a raise of hand of anybody that's thought of that, and I'll go to you because all right, Kevin's slowly creeping his hand up, and Bruce is too. So let's start with Kevin, then Bruce. Kevin, what about you? YouTube, is that one of the possibilities?
I would love to do YouTube. My wife and I have this conversation a lot. We had this discussion that when you put out a video, you need to make it good because it's out there forever. So our idea is, if we're going to do a YouTube video, and it would be fun. I mean, people love to see the process of how something's made, right? Start to finish. Right. I love the process, and people like to see like the thing that they just bought from start to finish, how it was made, who made it. My thing is, if I'm going to do it, I want to do it well. So I am just trying to stick a little money to the side to buy equipment that's going to produce something that's of good quality. So I watch a lot of YouTube videos just for fun of random things, and I see a lot of good ones. I see a lot of really bad ones, and I don't want to get caught up in being a bad video trying to promote my product. So it's on the table for me. I just want to make sure that I buy the right the right products and the right technology to produce that video.
Absolutely. And as a YouTuber, anybody can, and ladies and gentlemen that are watching, anybody can get on YouTube with a cell phone camera and an idea. But Kevin, is right. Good lighting, a good subject or a topic, and a decent camera that provides high definition and things. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to break the bank, but something that is of good quality does help, because the production you if you were to YouTube channel, to see the scene and some of your trips from behind the scenes, you or just like not want to show kind of the process. Do you worry about it or not? As far as like giving them behind the scenes of how you make your products. Do you worry about that ever? I don't worry about woodworking, but your products, and if someone says, "Oh, wait, I can make that," you know, that is you know, you would you kind of look behind the scenes to personalize Troy house, bring it into the home more, or is it just kind of a how-to? What would you think? How, you know, and don't ask you to go into what would be the
Yep, I'm going to make sure that I heard you correctly because you were pretty choppy in that whole thing. I apologize. I'm going to restate what you said, and hopefully you say, "Yep, that sounds right." I think I heard you say, "Are you nervous about putting out how-to videos so other people, you know, take my ideas?" Is that kind of what you were asking?
Yes, and am I still choppy now?
No. Now I can.
Am I smooth now? Okay. A little bit. Big lightning storm, but yes. Are you worried about them seeing behind the scenes?
I'm not actually. I think there's so many people out there making behind the scene videos of everything. You know, I mean, anybody who wants to be a master just watches, you know, 200 YouTube videos on the same thing and takes everybody's idea. I do think that people like to see who's making the product and how they've made it. So. You know, I don't know that there's a lot of unique and creative things out there that aren't on YouTube or on video on Facebook. I think people enjoy seeing that. I enjoy seeing, you know, how people made something and who that person is. I love hearing the backstory of who they are and their family and why they're doing what they're doing. So I think videos are really important. I just think they need to be done well because you get remembered for a good or bad video.
Yeah, and if I can encourage something, if I'm not breaking up, and I'm so sorry, ladies and gentlemen, we have a typhoon out here in Ocala, Florida, but if
you're doing better now, so
if I can encourage something is with your YouTube video, if you do kind of what they call blogging, where you're kind of showing that home life or that personal, that really nails home you know, who you guys are, what your company's all about, and it's a great thing and all. So Bruce raised his hand. I'm going to switch over to him. Thank you, Kevin, for that. I appreciate it. Bruce, you were raising your hand when I asked about the YouTube realm. Is that something that you're looking at?
Yes, my daughter and I have talked about that constantly. And more so her friends want to do it than she does, but they're all kind of getting on board a little bit. And again, like Kevin said, we just want to start off with just some processes around the shop. Show different aspects of the shop, show what they can do. And it kind of starts out with, it's mainly showing that young ladies can get into woodworking and make sawdust.
Absolutely. And, you know, and again, I apologize about my audio and video, ladies and gentlemen. We're in a typhoon, but if you are ever wondering about ladies in woodworking and all, just check out April Wilkerson. I remember when April Wilkerson just started YouTube and everything, and now she is as you call it, as the kids would say, making bank, and she's doing very well and very successful. You know, that's great, Bruce. You know, we need more of that. You know, it's not just a man's world, you know, kids, male, female, all ages, doesn't matter. It's just CNC is fun. Woodworking is amazing. I'm a big woodworking fan. So good on you for if you do something like that. That would be great. Now I'm going to change the topic here for a second. And when it comes to your work, your production for right now, and whether it's small amount of production because you're just getting started or, you know, ongoing, the digital wood carver, because that's what we're all about here at Digital Wood Carver and all. But what role does it play in your production? Is it a big role or a small role? And I'm going to start with Rose down here. And Rose, I'm coming to you. When it comes to the digital wood carver in the CNC side of things in your business, is it play a big role or a small role?
Oh, it plays the whole role. I don't do any kind of crafting or anything anymore. It's all from my CNC. So
that's awesome. And Kevin, again, I'm going to pop back up to you. Does your digital wood carver play a large role or a small role?
Yep, I would say that every product that I make incorporates the digital wood carver
in some way or another.
In some way or another. Yeah,
that's awesome. Yep. Now, Kevin, don't want to give away any secrets, but I understand that you're actually doing well enough that you're kind of growing from where you're starting as far as the digital wood carver in size, right? And things. Yep. Is that a true statement?
I definitely have the mini carver, and I love it. It's easy. It's a lot of fun. But I've also done a live edge table where I cut out the bow ties, joined two pieces of live edge, made some bow ties, and it fit, but you kind of had to keep moving it along. And then everything that I make, I've basically maximized my size. So I make enough products where if I had the bigger machine, I would be utilizing every square inch of the table nonstop. So I definitely have outgrown the mini, for sure.
Yeah. And ladies and gentlemen, on Digital Wood Carver, our website, we actually have business packages, whether you're just getting started and you're on a budget, or if you're looking to get into sign making as a business, or if you're serious about woodworking, we've got a package for you on the website. And I hope I didn't break up or stutter during that one, because that was not
you did good.
The wonderful thing I like about Digital Wood Carver, now I've been with Burl we're going on 6 years, but we're still at the 5-year mark. And Burl has a unique ability that people that start out with a mini carver, just getting started, as they grow, they can actually grow with the company, or the company can kind of grow with them and stuff, because they have the ability to talk with Burl one-on-one and trade in their mini carver towards the purchase of a bigger unit, and get some kind of value back from that starter unit as they grow into the bigger units. And we have our 2440, our 4x4, which is we call our 4848, and our 4x8 unit, which we call our 5100. And all, and that in itself, I like the ability that you'll be able to grow. So, hey, Kevin, shout out to you. If you, when that time comes, just reach out to Burl and I, and we'll give you a hand moving up and all.
It'll be sometime this year, I'm sure.
There you go. Now, Bruce, with you, just you're kind of hitting the floor running and everything right now, because you are a woodworker as well. We're all woodworkers, right? I didn't mean to make it that way, but is the digital wood carver playing a large role in the direction you're heading now, or is it just a portion?
Well, one of the first questions we ask ourselves is, can this be made in the digital wood carver? Can we get this together? An easy one would be the base for that sign that we made, that underlit sign. I could very easily put it on the router table, do something there by hand, but I think I was having a class with Laney one time, a couple weeks ago, 3-4 weeks ago, and he says, here's the easy thing to do. And he whipped it up, and in about 2 minutes, he had something designed. I spent probably another 20 minutes going back through it and revising it and learning, but I learned how to do it, and we just cut six bases this morning, and it didn't take any time, and right now, tonight, they're all prime painted and ready to go together. It's just like an example with the blanket chests. I've always cut the corner dovetails with a Krieg, with a Lee, I think I've even tried one on my old Sears blind dovetail maker. But I saw the class the one night on the jig maker, and I said, hey, it'd be pretty cool if I could do that. And so I had to get the jumbo monster super jig maker one that goes over the whole end of the 2440 because my pieces are 16 inches wide. And we've got the programming set up, and every time I get it back on and get it set to carve, I've got something else that comes along we have to carve. So
yeah,
we'll get there someday.
Yeah, and Bruce, you're referring to the joint making jig, which allows the Digital Wood Carver to carve off the front of the table to make things like dovetails, finger joints, mortise and tenons, and everything. So that's great. Now we're coming into the last 10 minutes here, guys and girls, and Burl and I, once again, we said this in the beginning before we started. We want to thank you for your time and everything. And I would like to leave by asking each one of you if there was a bit of advice, or if there was a tip or something that you would share with the people watching and stuff that are thinking about starting a business with their CNC or getting a CNC to start a business. If they asked you what your thoughts were and they wanted some kind of little tidbit of advice, what would that be? So I'm going to throw Rose down there smiling, and she's like, oh, please don't pick me first, but I'm going to pick Rose first. Rose, if you had to give some advice to someone looking to get started in business with a CNC machine and things, what would that be? But
I think my main advice is, if you're planning on getting into something like this, Digital Wood Carvers is the only company that you should go with. I've been with you for 3.5 years, and anytime I need anything, the support is just unbelievable. You will not get that with any other company.
And ladies and gentlemen, we did not pay her to say that. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate that. That's very nice of you. So that's your tidbit of advice. Hey, if you're going to do it, get the best bang for your buck. Go with a company that's going to support you and be there for you. And Digital Wood Carver is that such company. Awesome. Thank you for that.
Point something out for Rose here. She did she has made a huge 80-inch long sign.
It was 6 foot by 2 foot.
Yes. Yep. So Kevin, if you have any questions about those long things, Rose is an expert.
Yeah. So and that's ladies and gentlemen, with the Digital Wood Carver, we have our 2440 model, which has a 40-inch cutting area, but users have the ability to do what's called tiling, to where they can exceed the cutting limits of their table by sliding their material into positions to cut different sections, and it creates that seamless carving. And Rose, I'll never forget when you were starting that, and for that particular sign, which did turn out well, it was a little bit white knuckling, right? It was kind of like, oh gosh, how do I do that?
Oh, it was horrible. And if it wasn't for you and Burl, I would have scrapped it. So
well, good. I'm glad you didn't. I'm glad you didn't. Now, I want to end with Kevin, so we're going to go to Bruce here. And Bruce, if you had a nugget, a morsel of advice to give someone that's looking to get into CNC or maybe start a business with a CNC, what would you say to them?
I would say primarily to start on a smaller basis. I've seen several around here go full bore in and they're not around anymore. Take your time, pick your battles, pick your projects, and go from there. If I had my druthers, I wouldn't do it any other way. I actually investigated Digital Wood Carvers along with several others, and I picked Digital Wood Carvers primarily because of the talk I had with Burl at that one wood show, and because of the support that I got just driving you two nuts when I was getting up to the process of buying it. What about this? What about that? And you guys stood behind it and explained everything, and I'm glad I did it. But just, don't jump in full bore, get something and work at it. Build it up as you go.
Absolutely. And that's great because Burl and I always tell customers, especially customers that are they're brand new with CNC. They've never worked with CAD CAM design or a CNC machine. And ladies and gentlemen, if you are that such person, you can do it. The software is very user friendly, especially with Digital Wood Carver. You've got all kinds of support and training behind you. But we always tell the customers, crawl before you run. Get familiar with the software and making simple things. And eventually, not very far down the road, very quickly, really, those simple things will turn into more and more elaborate things, and you can grow from there. But some people have high expectations and they jump in full bore, and then something doesn't quite go right and they get frustrated. Well, you should never get frustrated. It should always be fun and enjoyable. And that's what we hope to provide, is that fun experience for customers, because if you're getting frustrated, that means you need to pick up the phone, text, call, email, whatever you need to do, because we're there to help you through all those obstacles and stuff to make it fun. So you're always moving forward, but always start out, crawl before you run, and then you're going to get into a full sprint before you know it. All right. Thanks, Bruce, for that. I appreciate that. That was pretty cool. The last but not least, and Kevin, didn't mean to leave you for last, but if you had a little pearl of wisdom or advice to share for someone, what would it be?
Yeah. Like these guys, though, I didn't get a chance to research other CNC companies. I just sort of met you guys all of a sudden. So I would piggyback a little bit off of what Rose said. I mean, Laney, you and I have talked. I mean, I'm in Central Time. You and I have talked at like 11 o'clock my time, because I had a project that I needed to finish. Something wasn't working, and you were willing to talk to me late at night to help me. That speaks volumes to me. So there isn't anybody I don't say that Digital Wood Carver is the way to go, simply because of the support I've gotten from you. The thing that we kind of jumped in both feet, just went, okay, we're going to do this. But we looked at our surroundings and said, who are we? What do we love? And we started making things that we love to do. So we make things for our kids. We make things for homeschooling. We do things for essential oils, because those are things that we're already passionate about. I made a bunch of stuff. I love baseball. So I made a bunch of baseball related things for some people. And that's really kind of, it keeps driving that passion, because I'm making things I really enjoy. And I've actually turned a lot of business away. Could you make, I had somebody ask me to make a pickler triangle, and I just went, man, that looks like a lot of fun, but it's not my wheelhouse. I'm so busy making these other things that I've turned quite a bit of business away because of that.
So kind of do what you love, find what your passion is and what your interests are. Like, my ex, who's a wonderful woman and everything, she was really big into essential oils and everything, and essential oil holders and things like that. Those are amazing, right? She would spend all kinds of money on those things, and that's a great little thing. But yeah, find what you love, what you're into, and make something. And you're only limited by your imagination, right? So thanks for that, man. I appreciate that. As we get ready, we're in our final couple of minutes here as we close out and all. Kevin was saying something that kind of Burl shook his head and said, yeah, because it's true. We all have some kind of passion. And we all have something that we're interested in and everything. And life is too short to not, take that passion and turn it into something. Hey, if that passion happens to involve woodworking and making people happy and making things that they would love and cherish for the rest of their lives, hey, come on and check us out at Digital Wood Carver, because, we'd love to work with you. And also that was, on a serious note, but, we are available to our customers 24 hours a day, 6 days a week. Kevin, if you ever have to call, or anyone ever has to call at 11 o'clock or midnight or whatever, it's not a big deal. That's what we're here for. So thanks for throwing that out there and mentioning that, because it's I think that's important. I think that's what makes Digital Wood Carver as successful as we are, is that we're there for when you need us, right? So and all. All right, Burl, I'm going to let you I'm going to put you up solo here for a minute. I'm going to let you say your goodbyes, and then we'll come back as a group, and we'll bid our farewells. So.
Well, one of the things I've heard from all three of you tonight is that what you do, and you can just hear it in your voice and what projects you have talked about, is it is something that you're passionate about. And, you know, when I get people come up to me to shows and ask them, you know, how do you get started? And that's one of the first things I say is, what are you interested in? You know, do you have antique tractors, or, you know, do you show horses, or, you know, maybe your kids are into soccer? You know, if you start with those and that's something that you're interested in, your business is going to be more successful. And I've heard that in all three. So that was some very good advice there, Kevin. But I want to take the time to really thank all three of you for coming on and doing this live show with us. I know the 2 weeks ago when we did it, we actually got some sales for some people that really appreciated it, and it kind of helped them make up their mind and see that, you know, other people are doing this, and so can I. So we appreciate you coming on. We appreciate everybody out there in the live watching the show. You know, if you have any questions, just give us a call. Laney does a phenomenal job with the service and the sales of it, and we appreciate you guys coming. And with that, I will, you know, sign off here, and thanks. And not sure what our next topic is, but you know, right at the moment, but Laney and I will come up with it and post on what that is. But thanks again, and have a good evening.
All right, and ladies and gentlemen, all three of you, I'm going to unmute your microphones now, and I just again want to express my thanks and gratitude for you spending this hour with us. We greatly appreciate it, and everybody at home watching, and those of you that will be watching this later, because it is recorded and everything. You can always reach us via email at sales@digitalwoodcarver.com. or calling our toll-free number, which is 833-DWC-CNC1. And that's 833-392-2621, extension 1. The phone number is on the screen. But I'm happy, Burl and I and the guys, we're happy to answer any questions that y'all may have and help point you in the right direction to get you started with your adventures, your journey, your business, whatever you want to call it. Please keep us in mind. And for our panel tonight, you guys did an amazing job. Thanks for your time. As always, we appreciate you. Just as much as you know that you said that you appreciate us for being there. That's 100% return back to you. We appreciate all of you, because without you, we would be just two guys hanging out in our shops making machines. Well, Burl makes the machines. I'd just be the guy that has nothing to sell or talk to people about. So thank you for that. And ladies and gentlemen, until next time, we'll see you soon. So everybody say goodbye.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, guys and girls, we're going to end right now. Thanks, everybody. Y'all have a great evening.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.